We welcome you to the Upstate, Greenville, South Carolina. It's the East Coast Basketball League Game of the Week. This week, it's the South Carolina All-Stars coming in at 6-3, visiting the South Carolina Upstate Redhawks, coming in at 2-8. Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Shima. Glad to be with you here in Greenville for today's ECBL Game of the Week. Thanks for watching. Wherever you're joining us from, we always appreciate it. Let's get to the starting lineups. We'll start with the visitors. Daryl Beeson's SC All-Stars. Starting this way at one guard, it's number 11, Marcus Watts from Clinton, South Carolina. At another guard, it's number 25, Darrell Evans. 6'1", 183 from Spartanburg. And the third guard, number 40, Wiley Petty, 6'6", 230 from Shelby, North Carolina. Up front for the All-Stars, number 16, Corey Lovett, 6'6", and number 32, Omar Sanders, 6'9", 230 from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Now the starters for the home team. South Carolina Upstate Redhawks. Head coach is Henry Hawthorne, and he starts this way. At one guard, it's number 11, Jarrell Richardson, 6 foot. At another guard, it's number 20, Jaquin Hawthorne. And up front, number 1, Robbie Dreher, the league's second leading scorer at 30 points per ball game, gets the start, along with Melvin Garrett Jr., number 23, 6'6", forward. And finally, number 12, Josh Clater, who is 6'5". So South Carolina Upstate and the South Carolina All-Stars, both from this general area in the Upstate. The All-Stars having a very good season. They come off a close loss, 110-107 against Savannah last weekend. Greg Thomas for Savannah went off with 30 in the second half, 38 total in the game to pull off the victory. Prior to that, though, the All-Stars won 6 straight, including a 3-point victory against the primetime players on the 30th of April at home. Meanwhile, for the Redhawks, it's been a bit of a struggle, mainly because of offense. They've only won a couple of games, shot 61% and 52% in those 2 wins. They've been held under 40% in 6 of their 8 losses. So if they can make shots, they can certainly stay in this game. It's the second meeting between these two teams, by the way. It was a All-Stars 107-79 victory on March 19th. The All-Stars outshot the Redhawks 63% to 46%. 10 out of 18 from three-point range. That was good for 55%. And the All-Stars plucked 16 in rebounding, 21 assists, and 17 steals. So they're hoping they can duplicate that here. Just about set to get underway. The All-Stars in their road red and the Redhawks in the home white, as the second meeting here in the Upstate between these two now rivals in the ECBL is underway, with the All-Stars controlling the tip and then Watts turning it over. So 0 for 1 on that possession for South Carolina, who come in 4th in the league in scoring at 117.1 points per ball game. They're second shooting the basketball at 59%, but they turn it over there. Richardson driving in, the scoop shot up and in. And like I said, if Upstate can hit their shots and get easy looks like that one, they can certainly compete with anybody. The tip back by Sanders off the miss, no good. Extra opportunity for Barnes, and he's fouled. So Phil Barnes will go to the line. Phil Barnes is shooting 71% from the field, and every time you look at those stats, you think, well, maybe he's only played like 2 games. He's played most of the year, has Phil Barnes, and he is 8th in the league in scoring, in shooting the basketball. So at 71%, that's only 8th in this league. That tells you the kind of offensive numbers that teams and individual players are putting up here in the ECBL. Now, I will say, usually when I do the stats this time of the year, they've got to play a minimum of 3 games before I recognize it. If you go to the website, it's going to recognize league leaders. If they've only played 1 game and they shot 1 for 1, they're going to be the league leader in shooting. That's not how I do it, though. So when I say he's 7th, believe me, he's 7th. Couldn't get the free throws, though. So it's still 2-0, and now here's a steal by Watts. Watts on the run, 1-on-2, takes it himself, and evens it up here at 2 apiece. Just underway, first quarter. For Upstate, This is Melvin Garrett, 22.4 points per ball game, 2.1 assists. He had 17 and 9 in their last meeting. Now Richardson gets it over to Hawthorne. Hawthorne short on the jumper. Wiley Petty chases down the rebound. Full court to Sanders. Lays it off the glass. No, but Barnes is there with the tip in, and the All-Stars have back-to-back buckets. Hawthorne into the forecourt. Jaquin Hawthorne, scoreless in the first meeting. 5.2 points per game. Dreher, mentioned he's so dangerous. Just his 5th game of the year. 30.2 points per ball game. 4 on the shot clock now. Hawthorne hits it over to Garrett. Garrett unaware of the shot clock, and that'll be a 24-second violation. So turnover gives the ball back to the All-Stars on a mini burst of 4 points. Petty, nice pass underneath. Sanders lays it off the glass. It's a 6-0 run here 2 minutes into the game for the All-Stars. If you're having trouble shooting, which the Redhawks do most of the season, turnaround shot by Clater from the left elbow, though, is good. You got to limit the turnovers. That 24-second violation led to that 6-0 run, although they get a couple back, and then Watts with a hand in his face answers right back with a triple. Marcus Watts shooting just 24% from downtown. Nails that one. Hawthorne into the forecourt again. Hawthorne guarded by Watts on the switch. Hands it off to Richardson, and is that another 24? That was a quick 24. So nobody, including your broadcaster for this evening, was paying attention. And now the referees are going to talk about it. I think that was a little quick. There should be at least a few seconds. So I think they're going to run it down, and we'll see what they reset it to. Hawthorne will inbound. It looks like they messed it up the first time, so we'll have to wind it down again. I think I heard the referee say 10 seconds. So I believe this clock was still running too. So right now it's at 11, and I guess that's good enough. I think the clock ran a little bit too, but they reset it. So back to live action, almost a turnover there. Clater comes up with it, short on the jumper, and that's going to go out of bounds. Most of these players from the Upstate. Josh Clater played his basketball at Bob Jones as a senior in 2012-2013, averaged over 9 points per ball game. All-Stars basketball, and a throwaway there by Watts as that goes out of bounds, intended for Barnes. Early sub for Upstate as that's Dwayne Lynch on for the first time. Lynch had 3 points in the first meeting between these two teams. For Upstate, Dreher around one defender. The double pump rejected underneath by Barnes. Out on transition for the All-Stars, Evans. Over to Watts. Watts splits the defense. Nice extra pass and a two-handed jam by Barnes. 7-point lead for the All-Stars. Hawthorne again into the forecourt. Over to Richardson. The bounce pass for Garrett. Garrett rejected, that time by Sanders. It's tipped back to Dreher. Shot clock did not reset. There's 7 as Garrett is short, and the ball goes out of bounds off of Petty. So we'll stay on this side of the court with 5 to shoot. So 5 seconds on the shot clock. Inbound goes to Dreher. Dreher, a couple of fakes, puts it up short. And Petty collects the rebound. Full court to Watts. Watts, extra pass. Again, Sanders goes to the line. Couldn't convert, but it's been extra passing. Unselfish play for the All-Stars. They average 18.4 assists per ball game. That's middle of the pack in the league, but as I mentioned, they're scoring the basketball very well. Second in the league in shooting, third in three-point shooting at 45%. Struggling at the free throw line a little bit. Omar Sanders at the line, 63%. He had 18 and 9 in the last meeting. 10th in the league in rebounding, but misses both free throws there. So back come the Redhawks now. Dreyer into the forecourt. Here's Hawthorne. The bounce pass. Lynch. Lynch traveled with the basketball. So 8:06 left to play in the opening quarter. Ball goes back to the All-Stars. They lead it by 7. Evans into the forecourt. Evans gets a screen, a quick look, short on the 3, and skying for the rebound is Dreyer. Dreyer, great numbers for him as he takes it coast to coast. Can't get the bucket, but it's tipped back up and in by Garrett. Back quickly, the All-Stars. Evans, floater from the baseline, no good. Trying to chase down and pulled down the rebound after poking it away from a couple of defenders. Unfortunately, ran out of real estate as he goes out of bounds. Dreyer is, I mentioned, second in the league in scoring. He's also shooting 45% from the field, averages 7.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 3 steals. That's second in the league. His 5th game of the season. This is the second to last game of the year for the Redhawks. They have just one more on June 11th against Fort Gordon. Odds are I don't think they've been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, but it would take a whole lot, as the floater by Richardson is good. It would take a whole lot for them to get into the playoffs with just 2 wins against 8 losses. Again, all alone underneath Sanders, and the guards are finding the bigs for the All-Stars, a 5-point lead. Pull up with the hand in his face. Richardson connects, and Richardson is feeling it here in the early going. 3-point ball game. Correction, they called it a 3. I was waiting to see what's a 3 and what's a 2, as Petty answers right back with a 3 of his own. Dreyer into the front court. Dreyer gets a screen from way downtown. Yes! Raining threes in the Upstate right now. And it's a 2-point ball game. 16-14. Evans underneath. Here's Sanders again. Just not a lot of size. And the All-Stars are taking advantage of the lack of size underneath. The tallest player is 6'6". That's Melvin Garrett for the Redhawks. And the All-Stars have guys that are 6'9", and Justin Hauser, who we'll see off the bench at 6'11". So turnaround shot by Garrett, gets it to rim in. So Garrett with 4 points. Upstate hitting their shots. That's what I said they need to do to stay in it. We're midway through the first quarter. It's a 2-point ball game. Petty looking to clear some space. Now we'll have to back it out. Petty guarded by Dreyer. The bounce pass to Sanders. Turnaround shot left of the lane. Oh, not much you could do about that one, is there? 20-16, 4-point advantage as Omar Sanders is on fire. Sanders 19.5 points per ball game. He's got 6 already. Dreyer. Richardson's had the hot hand. Hawthorne drives back to Richardson. 5 to shoot. Richardson grazes the rim, that's all. Garrett the putback, and he draws the foul. That should be a timeout. Evidently not. So Melvin Garrett goes to the line, 22.4 points per ball game. And he's shooting 58% from the charity stripe. He's played professionally overseas in China. Connects on that first free throw. He's first in the league in rebounding, too, with 10.4 points per ball game. Justin Hauser coming in. Ivan Vernon checks in as well for the All-Stars. Melvin Garrett's also played in the WBA in addition to playing overseas in China as Hauser pulls down the rebound. Garrett had 17 and 9 in the first meeting. As I mentioned, the league's leading rebounder at the moment. All kinds of interesting games going on in the league, too. Driving to the bucket is Petty. They're going to count that in the foul. Over in Petersburg, the last score we saw was 49-47. Primetime Players up against the Revolution in what might be a championship preview. Wiley Petty, 64%. Good first meeting between these two teams for Petty. Had 18, 6, and 7. 18 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Timeout on the court. We're going to step aside. As we step aside, I want to mention all of these teams, 4 different teams in the East Coast Basketball League, trying to get into the basketball tournament for a chance to play for $2 million. And there's how you go to vote. You can sign up. It's free. I did it this past week. I voted for everybody. You can vote for up to 4 teams, so it's perfect. You can vote for all the ecbl teams. Just go to thetournament.com for more details. We'll be back. Well, folks, if you're in the Greenville area at any point, I highly recommend going to Falls Park. That's the Reedy, I believe, river. I got it right? Okay, I got it right. The Reedy River. You can see the falls there. Had a chance to check that out earlier this afternoon. Out of the timeout, Dreyer driving to the bucket, and he draws a foul. I thought we were shooting free throws before that timeout, but it was an inbound. I guess people thought the All-Stars were over the limit, but they weren't yet. So Dreyer was in the act of shooting, so he's going to line for 2. Robbie Dreyer, 74% at the line. Dreyer, we talked about his numbers this year. Good college player at Winthrop and the University of Charleston, where he attended as a senior. Between those two schools, 87 games played, 8.9 points per ball game. Averaged double figures his last year at Winthrop as well as his senior year at the University of Charleston. As I mentioned, over 30 points here this season as he gets 1 out of 2. Back down the court now, Sanders swings it out to Hauser. Here's Petty, thought about it. Now he'll rise from downtown. Can't get it to go. The rebound by Lynch. So Dwayne Lynch checking in. Driving in Dreyer, and they're going to call it on the floor, so no bucket. Lance White, his first game of the season, inbounds it. Richardson swings it to Garrett just inside the arc. Can't get it to go. Petty pulls down the rebound. Petty into the forecourt. Petty directing traffic to Thomas. Thomas can't get it to go, but the tip back up and in by Sanders. And it's all post play right now for the All-Stars. Almost a double dribble there by White. I think he did double dribble and they missed it. Here's Richardson. Hand in his face, got it over to Lynch. Lynch guarded by Hauser. Now he's open on the screen. Can't get the 3 to go. Offensive rebound by Dreyer, and they're going to call a hook. And it's going to be on Dreyer. So the ball goes back to the All-Stars. All-Stars looking to go to 7-3 on the season. Sub for the Redhawks as Chris Rhodes comes into the ball game. Chris Rhodes, his second game of the year, had 13 points in his first game. A late addition to the Redhawks roster. Inside 4 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Here's Hauser. Hauser, turnaround shot, too strong off the glass. Tried to get the offensive rebound, had it poked away by Lynch. Into the forecourt, Dreyer, and Dreyer looking for a foul called. And the ball goes out of bounds. On for the Redhawks, Demetrius Babb. And it looks like Dreyer will take a break. 3:30 left to go. It's correct score is 24-17. That's what it shows on the scoreboard here. I had it 24-18. My apologies. Sanders turnaround shot. Nope, he traveled, so the turnover will give the ball back to the Redhawks. The Redhawks have struggled, as I mentioned, offensively this year. They're 11th in scoring, 11th in shooting, and 11th in three-point shooting. The only team that's worse is the Carolina Impact, who have yet to win a game. Clearing some space, Thomas with the jumper. Correction, it's Rhodes who hits it for the 2 at the half circle. 5-point game again. Inside 3 to go. Vernon. Off the bench, Ivan Vernon, 12.4 points per ball game. Thomas now, here's Sanders. Sanders, the alley-oop to Vernon, and Vernon draws the foul. Ivan Vernon played last year with the Columbia, now Carolina Crusaders. So his second year in the league, first with the All-Stars from Gaffney. A little bit of a closer drive to come to the Upstate than it is to Columbia. First free throw up and in. Corey Lovett has come on for the All-Stars. On the court right now for the Redhawks, it's Rhodes and Garrett with Lynch. Also White. And Babb, that's the 5 for the Redhawks, who have the basketball trailing by 7. Driving in is Rhodes. Rhodes skies it off the glass for the 2. 5-point game. Vernon quickly underneath to Lovett. Lovett can't get it to go. Here comes Garrett in transition. The bounce pass to Babb. Step back 3. Yes! It's a 2. They say his foot was on the line, but the step back jumper cuts it to a 3-point deficit. All-Stars won the first meeting by 28 points. Redhawks playing well here in this fourth quarter, hanging around. That was off the foot of Petty. 8 to shoot now, as it's back to Petty from Vernon. 4 to shoot. Petty. And they're going to call a foul on the floor. So the All-Stars bailed out there with 2 on the shot clock. A foul's called, and the All-Stars will get a fresh 24. We're going to get a timeout first, though, so we'll step aside. 1:58 left to go in the opening quarter. A good one here in the ECBL Game of the Week. We'll be right back after this. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you here in Greenville as we take a look at the updated standings. Well, updated is a bit of a stretch since some games have gone final already today, but the latest coming into play today, standings. You see the primetime players clinging to at 1-game lead. It'll be interesting to get that final score if we can get it on Twitter to see if the Revolution were able to defeat them. Right now the Revolution have 2 more wins than the Raptors, but the Raptors have a better division or conference record, so they're ahead of Petersburg. And again, the All-Stars here in the Upstate are right behind the primetime players. First 4 teams make the playoffs. At the free throw stripe is Petty. My name's Chris Sheeman. Glad to be with you. I wasn't supposed to be here. The folks at Netcast had a family death, and my thoughts, and all of our thoughts really, with Marcus Shockley, our good friend who was unable to do today's game, so I'm happy to fill in for him. And Marcus apparently lost his brother, his younger brother, no doubt. It's such a sad thing. I didn't get a lot of details, but it's just my pleasure to fill in. And Marcus, our thoughts, like I said, are with you. And I asked him if he's got time, come on over to the All-Star Weekend and have some fun with us. That'll be our next broadcast, by the way. It's June 4th in Columbia. We're going to do the All-Star Weekend. That should be a lot of fun, starting at 2:30 on Saturday, June 4th. There's a 3 from the All-Stars. Thomas couldn't get it to go. Offensive rebound, Thomas. Quick pass underneath Lovett. Couldn't get it. Thomas, the putback, no. Lovett on the third possession now for the All-Stars. Here's Petty. Petty with the fake, drives in, dumps it off. Oh, Lovett blew the bunny. His defender went to help, and Lovett just choked. Here's Rhodes driving in. Rhodes draws contact, and he'll go to the line with 1:16 to play in the opening quarter. So Chris Rhodes just 1 out of 2. As I mentioned, this is just his second game. He played at Southside High School. As a senior, averaged just under 10 per ball game in 2008-2009. Connects on the first free throw. Wiley Petty checks out. Deshaun Hall on for the first time. The product of Erskine College, had 7 points in the first meeting as he comes into the game for the All-Stars. 2 out of 2 at the line, so it's a 3-point game again. Vernon into the forecourt. Vernon bumped by Rhodes. And I believe both teams are in the bonus at this point. So Ivan Vernon goes to the free throw stripe. Vernon back at the line. Vernon shooting 53% from the field this season. Just 60% from the charity stripe, though, as he misses that one. Vernon toes the line and connects on 1 out of 2 to push the lead out to 4. It's 29-25. The All-Stars have led for most of this contest, but credit the Redhawks. They are sticking right with the team that's 6-3 and playing very well this year. That was deflected out, the pass by White, intended for Babb. So with 8 to shoot, Babb will inbound it left of the basket. Here's Clater, who's returned. Clater drives in, and looks like we're going to get a foul on Lovett. So that will mean 2 free throws for Clater. Josh Clater, 10 points in the first meeting, 79% charity stripe shooter. And he connects on the first. Redhawks have been held under 100 points in 5 of their first 6. They've scored 100 plus, though, more recently. In fact, they've scored 100 in each of their last 4 games, just 1-3 record as Ivan Vernon parts the sea and gets the bucket. Rhodes, oh, nice cut by Babb and a beautiful find by Rhodes. About 10-second difference between game and shot clock here. Vernon trying to go quickly. Hauser on the baseline, and Hauser had it deflected by Lynch out of bounds. Corner jumper is good by Thomas. The last shot time, boy. Oh, Rhodes had to save it. Gets it back, brings it into the forecourt. Rhodes drives in. Nice pass again to Babb. Boy, those two are in sync. Rhodes came in with 6 assists in his first game. Unselfish play, and Babb will go to the free throw stripe. Just 2 out of 2 from the charity stripe in limited time this season for Demetrius Babb. And can't get the friendly bounce here at home on the first one. Short on that one. Fight for the rebound with 2 seconds. Here is Hall, and I believe that's going to be the end of the quarter because the clock, as you can see, never started, but that is the end of quarter number 1. 12 minutes in the books, 33-29 All-Stars. So we take a look at some of the Redhawks sponsors We'll be back with quarter number 2 after this. Welcome back, everybody. Chris Sheeman here with you. Greenville, South Carolina, the Upstate, as they call it. Right now, it's 33-29. The All-Stars with a 4-point advantage in our game of the week. Glad to be with you wherever you're watching from. We appreciate it. You can always use the hashtag ecbl on Twitter. You can chat at us, and full court press being shown right now by the Redhawks, or by the All-Stars, I should say, as the Redhawks bring it into the forecourt. It's Garrett on the near side as he returns out on the court with White and Rhodes. Garrett takes it to the rim and scores. Babb also out there, and Clater, that's the 5 for the Upstate. Curtis Jones has come on for the first time for the All-Stars. He's out on the court with Thomas, who takes it to the bucket. Hauser, Hall, and who else did I miss? Vernon. 4-point lead again, 35-31. Rhodes into the forecourt, gets a screen from Clater. Rhodes pulls up right of the lane, can't get it to go. Hauser to board. Vernon the rebound. Vernon into the forecourt. Vernon guarded by Garrett. Coming over is Rhodes to hound him. The bounce pass over to Hall. Hall steps inside the arc. Misses back rim. Rhodes the rebound. Both of these teams have some pretty good rebounders as Rhodes, the guard, pulls it down. Rhodes floats it up and in. 2-point ball game. All-Stars 35 and the Redhawks 33. It's a big game for the All-Stars. They need to keep winning to keep pace with the primetime players. Driving in. Jones, what a ridiculous play that was to go for 2. The scoop shot by Curtis Jones. He came in averaging 5.5 points per ball game. Product of Lindsey Wilson. Thomas into the forecourt. That's Rhodes, my apologies. Now Clater pulls up with Hauser in his face. Doesn't matter, though. Clater hitting shots here off the bench to start off the second quarter. The bounce pass from Hall to Hauser. Turnaround shot, no. Tip back up and in by Hall. It's really been everything in the paint for the All-Stars. They've hit a couple of threes so far, but they've gotten a lot inside, either because of size or second chance opportunities. A screen for Rhodes. Rhodes can't get it to go. Put back by Clater is good underneath. Both offenses are cooking. Hall. And underneath, we're going to get a foul, I believe, on Clater. We're going to get a sub now for the All-Stars. On for the first time is Brian Horach. Here's the inbound to Hall now. Hall, the bounce pass to Hauser. Hauser looking underneath. It's poked away. Coming up with it is Hall, who goes glass and scores. Folks, I know some people may experience some buffering during today's game, doing all we can with the internet connection and whatnot, but if you experience buffering, just refresh. We'll be back as quick as possible. So far, it doesn't look like too many problems, but you never know. A turnover for the Redhawks now. Hall into the forecourt for the All-Stars. Thomas on the near side of your screen. Thomas gets a screen, open look. Off the back of the rim, no good, and Garrett pulls down the rebound. Garrett into the forecourt. Went to college at Salem International. That's in West Virginia. And Garrett tied up. They call a reach, I believe, on Horesh. 8:43 left to go here in the first half. Coming up at halftime, we'll take our usual break. For the Redhawks, Lance White checks out, and Robert Sullivan checks in. Sullivan's 9th in the league in rebounding. Off the bench, 8.8 rebounds per game. That's what I mentioned. There's so many of these guys. South Carolina All-Stars have some good rebounders. Sanders is 10th in the league. Justin Hauser's over 7 rebounds per game. In fact, they've out-rebounded opponents by 18.7 in their victories, in their 6 wins this year. And they've been out-rebounded in every loss. So if you can hit the glass against the All-Stars, you can beat them. Garrett drives to the bucket. Off the glass. That was good defense by Jones, just better offense by Garrett, and all of a sudden the Redhawks have their first lead since I believe it was 2-0. Driving to the bucket, Hall changes that quickly to even us back up at 41. Into the forecourt, Sullivan skies it to Rhodes. Rhodes pulls up at the charity stripe and buries it. How about these Upstate Redhawks? Looking for win number 3 on the season and outplaying their crosstown rivals as Thomas is called for the offensive foul, I believe. Well, the Primetime Players have won. They defeated Petersburg by 30. It was a 2-point game at halftime. Primetime Players 117, Petersburg 87. So Primetime won their 8th. That means the All-Stars really need this one. They will play the Primetime Players again. It will be June 11th. That's the regular season finale. They also have a game with High Point. So the Primetime Players now 8-2. And again, the All-Stars, you know, if they lose this game and go to 6-4, wouldn't be mathematically eliminated, but it would most likely give Primetime the number 1 seed. Unless the All-Stars can win both, and the Primetime Players would have to lose both, because the All-Stars would have the head-to-head over Primetime if they can beat them at their own place at Bank Street on June 11th. A foul is called, and it looks like an accident by Jones, or by Sullivan, I should say, who poked Barnes in the face. So Barnes back out there for the All-Stars and immediately takes a shot to the face. And the foul was called on the Redhawks. And it looks like Jones will go to the bench. Back out there is Sanders, so it's Sanders and Evans with Barnes up front. In the backcourt for the All-Stars, it's Watts and Horesh. Horesh will inbound it here with 14 on the shot clock. Horesh, Sanders had that good opening quarter. Looking to post up Clater. Clater did a nice job to stay with him, but draws the foul as he got him on the elbow, they say. So the Primetime Players have won their 8th of the season. The All-Stars can stay 1 back if they're able to win today. And again, the Redhawks are still in the playoff hunt, although this Southern Conference or division, whatever you want to call it, has really been competitive of late. Savannah has really started to play well. They've won their last 2. They defeated the All-Stars last weekend. Sanders trying to salvage the trip here. And he does. So it's a 1-point ball game. Redhawks 43, All-Stars 42. Correction. I've got 43 to 42. The scoreboard says something very different, though. They've got 44 to 41 SC All-Stars. We'll have to wait and see somebody scores. Right now, it looks like they have the Redhawks as guests, even though they're at home. I don't know. We're going to have to see. So this is Watts, and Watts is fouled. So I'm going to keep my score the way it is right now. The Redhawks 43 and the All-Stars 42. And maybe when the next media timeout happens, of course the clock is still running with the game stop, so. So the Redhawks will inbound it, not getting the home court advantage, I don't think, right now. But we'll have to wait and see. Wait and see if somebody can score here. Let's see if Thomas can stay hot. He cannot. Correction, that was Rhodes. My apologies again. Here's Horesh. Horesh for the All-Stars. Drives in, can't get it to go. Tipped by Sanders, no. Second time's the charm, though. Okay, so they do have the All-Stars at 46 and Upstate at 41. So I'm guessing I had that wrong. Quick pass, and Sullivan is rejected. Good find by Garrett, but the better block, again, it's Sanders. Sullivan the inbound. That's poked away from Lynch. Good defense by Watts. Watts going coast to coast. Watts swings it over to the corner. Here's Horesh for three. Can't get it side rim. Garrett the rebound. Garrett had it poked away. Richardson is there. Garrett's on the floor. Richardson takes it. Rejected by Sanders. Richardson gets it back. Fires the three and hits. It might have only been a two. It was a two, so 46-43. Again, here's Richardson. Rhodes looking to go behind the best. Sloppy pass. Horesh the steal. Horesh lost the dribble, and it goes out of bounds. They say he touched it last. 5:19 left to go here in the first half. A good one, 46-43, All-Stars. We'll be right back. There's our next game of the week, everybody. I'll be in Columbia. A lot of other people with the league will be there. I said it's open mic night. The broadcast is open mic. I'm setting up the big mic. People can come up, chat during the three-point shootout. I'm hoping to get somebody to do the slam dunk contest with me. So, as of right now, 46-43 is the score. 5:13 left to go, and the All-Stars up by 3. Chris Sheeman, glad to be with you. Off of the inbound, Rhodes had his shot blocked, and it's just the size right now for the All-Stars that has been the difference. Underneath now, Barnes. Turnaround shot is good. And it's 48-43. Now a steal. A steal by Evans. Hall can't get the layup in the lane. Garrett pulls down the rebound. Sullivan navigating the press. Sullivan lost the dribble. Sanders comes up with it. Outlet to Hall, who lays it up and in. And the All-Stars by 7 now. Sullivan again, the full court press, and that time Sanders over aggressive. So The All-Stars trying to force the turnovers. They average just 8 steals per ball game. Off the inbound, they'll back off the press here. Rhodes into the forecourt. Rhodes gets a screen, splits the defense, floats it up. Off the back of the rim, no good. And the putback by Garrett, no good. Rhodes had it, but I believe he was out of bounds. Just not enough room to work with. Good hustle by Rhodes nonetheless. It goes back to the All-Stars now. Evans into the forecourt. Evans turns on the Jets. Puts it up, no. Couldn't get it over Garrett. Garrett, the rebound. Garrett, the pass to Richardson. It was tipped. Richardson came up with it. Aggressive move by Richardson for 2. And it's a 5-point ball game. Watts. Here's Sanders. Hall on the left wing. Hall guarded by Richardson. 6 to shoot now for the All-Stars. Hall, a lot of dribbling. Almost lost it. Had to force it. Alley-oop to Sanders, they say. Yes, it's in time. Making something out of nothing. 52 to 45. Rhodes methodically into the forecourt. The bounce pass to Garrett. Melvin Garrett, we're likely to see him and Robbie Dreyer representing the Redhawks next week as Garrett traveled with the basketball. Each team, I believe, gets 2 All-Stars. So Dreyer and Garrett, odds-on favorites, at least in my opinion. I don't know who it'll be for the All-Stars. All-Stars have had a lot of players had very good years. Richardson off the turnover around the defense, just a little too strong. Off the glass, inside 3 minutes to go. Here's Evans. Over to Watts. Watts from way downtown. It's short, not surprising. Here's Richardson. Richardson threw it away. Was it tipped? It was tipped, they say, by Watts. It'll be Wiley Petty to come into the game now for the All-Stars, and Robbie Dreyer returns. Lynch is also back out there for the Redhawks. So Dwayne Lynch will inbound it. All-Stars protesting, saying nobody touched the basketball, but they will lose that battle. Lynch to inbound it now. The bounce pass is poked away. Great defense by Evans. Sanders had trouble with it, able to get it back to Evans, though. And here come the All-Stars. Sanders driving in is Watts. Watts the reverse. Couldn't get it to go. Petty, shot blocked and taken away by Lynch. Here come the Redhawks now. Sullivan from deep. No. Skying in. Lynch was short on that. The outlet now goes to Barnes. Barnes, the two-hand jam. And it's a 9-point lead now, 54 to 45. Approaching the 2-minute mark here in the second quarter. Nice fake by Dreyer, didn't take the shot, and then the ball was kicked on the bounce pass attempt by Barnes. So the shot clock will be 14. Anytime there's a kick ball and the shot clock is less than 14, it'll be reset to 14, and I believe that's what the officials are alerting the score folks about. So it'll be 14 when they inbound. Redhawks have 5 players that average over 7 rebounds per game, 3 of them in the top 12 in the ECBL. I mentioned the All-Stars, a good rebounding team when they've been successful. They've rebounded players or opponents by 18.7 per game in their victories. So rebounding and hitting shots, the keys for the Redhawks in this one. So far they've hit their shots much better than they've done during most of the season. Back out there is Jaquin Hawthorne with 1 on the shot clock, a heave that goes to the top of the glass by Rhodes. So a turnover off the missed bucket that goes out of bounds. Here come the All-Stars now. It's Petty. The jumper from the left, Barnes able to get it to go, and the All-Stars are cruising now up by 11. Dreyer into the forecourt. Top of the key, Hawthorne from deep, grazes the rim, that's all. Got to say a big thanks to Jaquin Hawthorne, who's been nothing but gracious host this week, helping us out. Two-handed jam again by Barnes is good as he's feeling it underneath. And the All-Stars are rolling. They lead now by 13. Dreyer into the forecourt. Dreyer's got to get it going. His team needs a bucket right now. Dreyer doubled up. Good defense by the All-Stars. Rhodes around the world. No, Petty the rebound. Petty with a little too much mustard on the hot dog. So the ball back to the All-Stars. More than enough time for a 2-for-1 here as Richardson will walk it into the forecourt. Dreyer, turnaround shot, yes. Boy, is he fun to watch. Robbie Dreyer, 45% shooter, 30 points per ball game. Stepping into one, Evans trying to quick 2-for-1 there. Missed it, and Dreyer to rebound. Dreyer, they're leaving him open. Short on that one. The ball poked away. Coming up with it is Hawthorne. Here's Rhodes for three. Can't get it to go. Hawthorne had it tipped away. Barnes, did he get the timeout called? I think he was trying to call timeout. They're going to get together and talk about it, and they're going to give him the timeout. So how about that? Let's take a quick look at other action today. A lot of games have gone final. As we mentioned, the primetime players won by 30 after being up by just 2 at halftime against Petersburg. And that's news if you're an All-Stars fan as we take another look at the standings. So just imagine an 8 in front of the primetime players there. They're 8-2, so the All-Stars now a game and a half back. There you see the situation for the Redhawks. The Redhawks have to win their last 2. Hope Savannah loses. Hope Fort Gordon loses. The top 4 teams in each conference go to the playoffs. And right now that appears to be primetime, All-Stars, and Columbia or Carolina. They're in a lock, but looking good. So a timeout called. And the All-Stars have 7.5 to work with here. It'll be Watts to inbound. Here's Evans. Evans around 2 defenders. The Petty in the corner. At the buzzer. It's good. The SC All-Stars go on a second quarter tear, and they lead by 14 at the half. 61-47. We'll take a break. Come back and bring in the second half action in about 15 minutes. You're watching the East Coast Basketball League Game of the Week from Columbia, South Carolina. We'll be back. Kurshima, glad to be with you. The start of the third quarter. We're in Greenville. It's the South Carolina All-Stars leading the Upstate Redhawks 61-47. As always, wherever you're watching for, we appreciate it. Or wherever you're watching from, I should say, we appreciate it. Daryl Beeson and the All-Stars looking to win their 7th of the year, stay a game back of the primetime players. Meanwhile, Upstate Redhawks trying to hang on to some slim playoff hopes with just 2 games, this one counting, remaining in the season. It's the All-Stars in the red and the Redhawks in the white as we start this third quarter. It'll be the All-Stars with the basketball first. And let's see if there's any changes in the starting lineups. Looks like Petty is starting with Sanders as well as Phil Barnes. That's the front court. Meanwhile, in the back court, it's Evans and what do we have? A stoppage here. And Watts. So that's the 5 for the All-Stars. Meanwhile, for the Redhawks, Robert Sullivan Jr. getting the start. That's a change for them. He's on the court with Melvin Garrett as well as Chris Rhodes. Another change. Dwayne Lynch, also a change. And Robbie Dreyer. So that's the 5 for both teams. There's some confusion as to who has the basketball. Meanwhile, the clock is running. Daryl Beeson is out on the court asking what is going on. But I believe it's going to be Redhawks with the basketball. Minor league basketball, everybody. You gotta love it. So they reset the clock, and it looks like it will be the Redhawks basketball to start off this third quarter. Darrell Beeson still pleading his case. But the Redhawks possess first, moving left to right on your screens and tablets. So here we go with Dreyer on the left wing. Top of the key, it's Rhodes. Rhodes trying to spin on 2 defenders, and it was a steal by Evans, but before that, a travel. Into the forecourt for the All-Stars. Here's Sanders. Did it inside in the first half, trying to do it from the outside. Came up short that time. Rhodes the rebound. Here's Sullivan. Sullivan driving left of the lane. Underneath Garrett. Garrett over 2 defenders, rejected. I believe it was Sanders. Might have also been Barnes. Garrett the bounce pass to Lynch. Lynch with 4 on the shot clock. Can't get to roll. And now we have Lynch with a frustration foul. So Richardson came down with the rebound, or excuse me, it was Watts who came down with the rebound, and the All-Stars will get it back on the foul. First foul in the quarter for the Redhawks. Wiley Petty, the all-time leading scorer at Johnson C. Smith at D2, turns it over. Here's Rhodes. Dreyer looking for the cutter, Garrett. Garrett had trouble with the pass, and they're going to get a jump ball. So Garrett and Petty will jump it up. A sloppy start to the third quarter here, just a minute and change in. So it will be Petty and Garrett who will jump it up at the free throw stripe. Right now there's 8 to shoot for the Redhawks if they're able to get it back here. Dreyer, it goes into the backcourt. With 4 to shoot, Dreyer is going to have to go. He does. Defender went for the steal, left him open for the 3, missed it short. And now here comes Evans. Evans got the rebound, brings it into the forecourt. Petty on the left, the bounce pass to Sanders. Cross court, Watts. Watts fakes the 3, swings it over to Barnes. Barnes from downtown, missed it. And Sullivan the rebound for Upstate. Sullivan top of the key. Backs it out now, 10.5 to go here in this third quarter. Sullivan driving in, floats it up on the fake, no good. Offensive rebound by the league's leading rebounder, Garrett, who cleans it up for 2. First points of this third quarter belong to the Redhawks. Darrell Evans, 18 points per ball game. Second, shooting 82% from the field. Here's Barnes underneath. Sanders is there, and Sanders with the bucket. The All-Stars have 3 players in the top 10 in field goal percentage in the league. Phil Barnes, 8th at 71%. Justin Hauser, 6th at 73%. And Darrell Evans, 2nd at 82%. Sullivan from the baseline for SC Upstate with the bucket. Evans to Petty. Petty from downtown. Can't get it to go. Dreher to rebound. Dreher with a 3-on-3. He'll back it out, wait for his teammates. Sullivan now over to Rhodes. Garrett up top. Dreher fakes the 3, takes it to the elbow. Defender closed, an air ball, but it's cleaned up by Lynch. So Upstate hanging around here. Let's see if they can string some stops together and try to go on a run here. Underneath for Sanders. And it looks like they called Sanders on the offensive foul. Demetrius Babb on for SC Upstate. It's the Redhawks and the All-Stars, our game of the week. The league is off for Memorial Day weekend. Well, I think there's a couple of games going on, but no game of the week next week. Our next game of the week will be in Columbia. It's the All-Star weekend. Drawing contact is Rhodes. He'll go to the line. Tried to make it an and one. Chris Rhodes, as I mentioned, a local product. Played at Southside High. Graduated in 2009. Rhodes swishes the first free throw in. Single digits now the deficit for Upstate. And gets the friendly rim. Finally, the Redhawks are getting something right at their home gym. The friendly rim did not exist in the first half for Upstate. Sanders, the extra pass, two-handed jam, the third of the game for Barnes. And the lead is 10 again, 65-55. Into the forecourt, it's Dreher. Dreher looking to clear some space, had it poked away. Good defense by Barnes. Barnes getting it done on both ends. Outlet goes to Evans for the easy 2. And just like that, the All-Stars back up by 12. And we're going to get a timeout by SC Upstate, trying to stop the bleeding. 8:19 left to go in the third quarter, 67-55. The All-Stars with a 12-point advantage here in the game of the week. We'll be back. There it is, folks. If you want to chat us up on Twitter, use the hashtag ecbl. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. 8:19 left to go in the third quarter. All-Stars leading by 12. They've led by as many as 14. It was 61-47 at halftime. So Redhawks with the basketball into the forecourt. It's Rhodes. Rhodes guarded by Evans. Babb top of the key, guarded by Petty. Garrett around a sea of defenders. Back out to Babb. Open look, couldn't get it. Offensive rebound by Lynch, who's played well, but Forced the pass to Dreyer, and it's a steal by the All-Stars. Behind the back pass by Petty. Sanders had to save it. Over to Watts for three, couldn't get it. And the rebound controlled by Garrett. Boy, Garrett, the league's leading rebounder. He's got the Jets going. Short on that shot, though. The layup no good. Sanders, the rebound, outlet to Petty. Underneath the back door, wide open, and Watts lays it up and in. Matches the biggest lead for the All-Stars at 14. Dreyer back down. 7.5 to go in the third quarter. Dreyer. Lynch bounce passes it out to Rhodes. Rhodes drives in with the hand in his face. Couldn't get the friendly rim, but guess who? Garrett, the rebound and 2 points. Easiest way to pad your stats is get those hustle points. He got a rebound, a field goal made, and 2 extra points to his total just on that one little tip. Petty looking underneath. Barnes colliding with his own teammate Evans, and I think Evans came over because it didn't look like Barnes was going to get it, and then Barnes looked like he was going to be able to get there, and they deflected and hit each other, and now the ball goes back to the Redhawks. Subs as Barnes comes out. Coming back in is Curtis Jones. And also out there is Josh Clater. Rhodes into the forecourt now. Rhodes, top of the key, takes it to the elbow. Here's Clater. Clater driving on Jones, steps to the right, and a shot that grazes the side rim, that's all. Rebound to Sanders. Into the forecourt, Evans. Nearing the midway point of the quarter. It was poked away. Good defense by Clater. Coming up with it is Garrett. Outlet to Dreyer. And a hard foul by Sanders will send Dreyer to the free throw stripe. Well, if you're an All-Stars fan and you're just joining us, you are late. Also, what you missed in the first half, the primetime players won by 30, so they're now a game and a half over the All-Stars. So the All-Stars needing to win here. As I mentioned, both teams with 2 games left. The All-Stars will be at High Point on the 28th, so they are playing Memorial Day weekend, and then they're off until after the All-Star break, where they host or they visit the primetime players. The All-Stars defeated the primetime players once already, and if they can defeat them again, win out, hope the primetime players lose one more, they would be the top seed. Boy, first effort no good. Watts doing everything he can to draw a foul here. Watts, yes, and the foul. And Watts is fired up, Marcus Watts. I mentioned I saw Marcus play in another league in the CBA, the Central Basketball Association. He played for the Chattanooga Rail Runners, who made the playoffs, and I had the opportunity to go to Chattanooga. What an awesome town that is, by the way. Played there before moving over. He went to Tennessee, Chattanooga. He also played pro overseas in Germany and Finland. Can't complete the three-point play, but this team now up by 12, although the scoreboard doesn't reflect. The scoreboard's definitely wrong there. So now I know it's not me. It's the correct score is 71-61, and even that may be wrong. We had a little issue in the first half I'm still not sure about, but I'm keeping my score the way it is, whether they change theirs or not. Sanders is hammered and fouled by Clater. He'll go to the line. So we know Watts made that bucket. He went to the line for only one. They haven't changed it on the scoreboard yet, though, and we're going to get a timeout. So we'll step aside. 71-61, the All-Stars by 10 here in our game of the week. Welcome back, everybody. 10-point lead for the All-Stars. Looking to tack on is Omar Sanders. Sanders, as I mentioned, 10th in the league in rebounding. Had 18 and 9 in the first meeting between these two teams, and he is on pace to do a little bit better than that. 72-61 now, as Sanders will try to net 2 out of 2 here. Goes in and out. Coming back in is Jones. Jones had the rebound, got tied up with White, and a jump ball will be called. So Lance White and Curtis Jones will jump it up here. It's tapped underneath. Beautiful job by Jones, looking for Sanders. That was a pretty tap. 74-61 now. The lead is 13. Dreher into the forecourt. Tosses over in the corner to Babb. Underneath it's Garrett. Garrett, the reverse, can't get it. The ball tipped out. Coming up with it is Evans. Evans out on the run. Underneath, Petty, extra pass. Jones, couple of fakes, and he scores. It's all unselfish for the All-Stars. That's what's fun about them to watch. Really, both of these teams playing good team basketball, making the extra passes. Dreher tries to get one to go, couldn't from distance, and Sanders connects on the rebound. Here's Evans. Over to Petty. Petty just inside the arc, I believe. No. Put back by Jones. No. Oh, somehow Evans got it over the defender. And the lead has grown to 17 now, 78-61. This is the biggest lead of the ball game. Richardson into the forecourt. Richardson hot-handed in the first quarter. Quiet since then. Richardson looking for a screen. Got it to Garrett as the defense stayed with him. Garrett left of the lane, in and out. Tipped rebound comes to Jones. Outlet goes to Petty. Petty, ball deflected. Good defense by Richardson. Richardson towing the line. Richardson fell down, kept the dribble. And it looks like we got a timeout. 4:17 left to go. 78-61, All-Stars. We'll be right back. .417 left to go, a 17-point lead for the South Carolina All-Stars. My name's Chris Shima, glad to be back with you here in Greenville. Wherever you're watching from, as always, we appreciate it. Back to live action now. Dreher from the elbow gets it to go. Boy, that didn't even touch the net. The purest of pure shots for Dreher. Hauser comes in. Nice pass by Thomas, who finds Hauser for the easy bucket. I gave Jaquin Hawthorne a big shout out. Got to do the same for Justin Hauser. He's always very helpful with the All-Stars. All-Stars went through an ownership change this year, and the difference has been tremendous. Darrell Beeson, who played last year, averaged 17 points per ball game. Now coaching the team and doing a tremendous job. His team competing, going toe-to-toe with the primetime players and defeating them in their first meeting, a chance to sweep the season and possibly get the top seed in the conference. Much to Beeson's dismay, Richardson was fouled, and he'll go to the line here with 3:46 to go. Missed it short. Oh, Upstate had such a good first quarter. I think they were over 30 points in the first quarter, and they've been held under 30 points since that first 12 minutes. 1 out of 2 at the line there for Richardson. That's what I talked about for the Redhawks. They have to consistently make shots. This league is just so potent especially these all-stars as Vernon drives in. I mean, you've got Ivan Vernon off the bench averaging 12 points per ball game, and he shoots 53%. That's what you're up against when you're playing the all-stars. It's such a deep team. They went 7-7 last year. 4 returning players from last year. Mentioned Vernon came over from Columbia. They defeated the Redhawks by 38 in their first meeting. That was all the way back on March 19th. One out of 2 at the line, and it's 81-64. SC Upstate, they joined the league in part because of their play at the basketball tournament last year, which we talked about in the first quarter. I think Babb was over the line there, so a turnover. They played in the same region as the primetime players. Chris Thomas got to know Jaquin Hawthorne and everybody else associated with the Redhawks, and the rest of this history is they joined the ecbl their first year. Several first-year teams in the league. They, along with the Impact and Raleigh-Durham. How about the Raptors season so far? Richardson strong to the bucket for 2. Nice move by Richardson. Also the Impact, who have really struggled. They don't even put stats up. That's how bad their season has been. With a hand in their face, the 3, no good by Thomas. But a foul is called on the Redhawks and will stay on this end of the court. I didn't expect the Impact to be bad because they're basically the Carolina Gladiators roster, or at least that's what we were told. There was something on the ecbl Facebook page about Brian DeMarco Williams, who played with the Gladiators last year, having some health problems. And if that's the case, I'm not sure what the issue is, but Brian, we hope you're doing well. He was a tremendous player. Talked about him a lot last year because we did so many of their games. He played in Italy and really outstanding competitor. So whatever's wrong with him, I hope it's nothing too serious and he's okay. Hauser, the extra pass by Hauser, and Lovett draws the foul. So it's Corey Lovett at the line, his 3rd game of the year, 2nd time playing the Redhawks, had 15 in their first meeting, a 50% shooter, just 6 attempts at the free throw stripe prior to today. He hit 3 of them. Lovett. Second one no good as well. The rebound controlled by White. Dreyer into the forecourt. Dreyer lost the dribble. And another turnover as Thomas comes up with it. What do we have here? I have no idea what's going on. I don't know why they stopped it. Darrell Beeson is not a shy man. He is constantly on the court with his Dwayne Wayne glasses. I'm not sure why they stopped the game. I'm trying to listen to Coach Beeson to see what he says. They called it. I think the All-Stars are claiming there was a kickball. Either way, it's their basketball. 2:49 left to go. 81-66 is the correct score. Ignore the score that you might see from time to time that they have posted here. I would say if there's one thing about semi-pro basketball that I wasn't expecting, it's a lot of complaining, and a lot of it justified complaining too. Let me lead with that. But Vernon called for steps. But you see it just about every week we do these games, and you see just constant complaining out on the court. Just nobody's ever happy with anything. Richardson, step back jumper, yes. I like this Jarrell Richardson. Came in just 31% shooter, but he's been money today. Hauser looking for the extra pass. It's the give and go to Vernon. Vernon had it blocked, but coming up with it is Hall. 2:05 left to go. Hall draws the foul. I believe they'll call it on the floor. More subs as Deshaun Hall has come on for the All-Stars. Demetrius Babb has returned for the Redhawks. Babb out on the court with Richardson and Dreyer. Also Garrett and White. That's the 5 for the Upstate. At the line is Hall. He's out on the court with Lovett as well as Thomas, Vernon, and Hauser. Can we shoot the free throws, please? Hall at the line. First one, nothing but net. Deshaun Hall, pretty good free throw shooter, 77%. I mentioned he played at Erskine College. Made them both. So the lead is 15 now. 83-68. Richardson into the forecourt. Over in the corner, here's Babb. Babb got caught. Able to get it back to Richardson, though. Plenty of time to shoot. Turnaround shot by White is good. With a hand in his face, Lance White playing in his first game of the season. Connects. Vernon. Guarded by Dreyer. Hauser. Got it to Thomas. Thomas turnaround baseline jumper, no good. Put back by Hall, no good. Third time's the charm, though, as Lovett scores, and the lead is 15. Into the forecourt, White. White splits the defense. Now it's out to Garrett, but Garrett shuffled his feet, they say. Turnover gives the ball back to the All-Stars. All-Stars looking for their 7th win of the season, with just 2 remaining at High Point and at the Primetime Players. Vernon, open jumper off the back of the rim, too strong. Lovett, the offensive rebound. Vernon trying to throw it down. And that goes out of bounds. Ivan Vernon got the bench up, but he missed it. A for effort, though. The inbound is tipped, and now it's a steal by the All-Stars. Here comes Lovett. Lovett floats it up. No. Tips it up. No. And Thomas had it and lost it. Here comes Dreyer. Dreyer 2-on-1. White back to Dreyer. Dreyer, couple of fakes and scores the easy bucket. Inside a minute to go in the third quarter. Vernon on the far side of the screen. Vernon floats it up. Oh, just can't get the bounce. That rim has not been friendly. Here's White. White almost had it poked away. Right block, turnaround shot too strong. Babb the offensive rebound. Extra possession now, and Garrett with 4 seconds. Difference between game and shot clock. Got it to Richardson, who missed the 3. Petty. Vernon. And the All-Stars will hold for the final shot. Here in quarter number 3 with 8 seconds left to go. Vernon. Vernon just bait the buzzer, couldn't get the roll, and the third quarter comes to an end. 85-72 to lead 13 for the All-Stars. As we go to quarter number 4, you're watching the ECBL Game of the Week from Columbia, South Carolina. We'll be back after you look at these sponsors from the SC Upstate Redhawks. Welcome back, everybody. Just underway here in the fourth quarter. All-Stars in control, leading by 13. Ivan Vernon caught in midair, draws the foul. 85-72. Chris Sheeman, glad to be with you here in Greenville for our final quarter. Again, we're off next week. No game of the week next week. We will have the All-Star Weekend. I'll be there with hopefully a bunch of folks from the league. As I mentioned, it's open mic night. That's what I'm calling it. Just setting up the big microphone, and everybody can come and sit down and chat during the game. So the first free throw, good. Vernon trying to make it 2 out of 2, and he does. All-Stars will be announced next week, I believe. Richardson. Hauser on him on a switch. Richardson hit it over the 6'11", Justin Hauser. Y'all know me, I'm 5'5". I love seeing the short guys beat the big guys. It's my dream come true. Because it never happened to me, not one time. Here's Lovett. The putback is good. Lovett, the hustle points in this second half. In the first half, it was Sanders getting the second chance opportunities. And now a steal by Vernon. Vernon throws it down with the right hand. A little more modest that time for Ivan Vernon, who tried to break the rim in the third quarter. Richardson's pass, a good defense by Thomas, who forced a bad pass. So as we've been talking about this afternoon, if the All-Stars can win, they'll stay a game back from the primetime players. Meanwhile, the Redhawks' slim playoff hopes are dwindling here, trailing by 17. Redhawks talking to Jaquin Hawthorne, who's not only a starting point guard, but the owner of the team, and that's the second team, expansion team. As Robert Espinoza also plays for the Raptors, he also owns that team. Put back no good both times. First by Dreyer, then by Garrett. All-Stars turn it over, though. Dreyer draws the foul. So Dreyer's going to go to the line. But Jaquin saying that using this year to build and trying to get back into the tournament last year. Be interesting to see. It's still a long ways to go. We still have a month and 4 days before the championship game, but since the Redhawks are a little bit up against it in terms of postseason, not too soon to start thinking about next year for them, with just one game probably remaining on the docket. It'll be interesting to see, since both of these teams are separated by just miles. There's a lot of talent in the Upstate. These two teams vying for talent, as White came up with the steal. Couldn't get the bucket on a 4-on-2. And the outlet goes to Thomas with the two-hand jam. That's Thomas's fourth two-hand jam in this ballgame, I believe. 93-76 as the All-Stars approach the century mark. Here's Dreyer. Dreyer going around Thomas. Dishes it out to White. White buries it for 2. Hall into the forecourt. Hall swings it over to the corner. Thomas can't get it to go. Hauser tried for the rebound, but Babb was there. Good box out. Here's Richardson. Richardson, nifty fake as he takes it to the bucket with the offhand and scores. So it's not over yet. It's a 13-point ball game. Vernon driving in. Vernon floats it up and gets the friendly roll. That rim finally gave somebody a break. Just about 3 minutes in here in this fourth and final quarter. Melvin Garrett, who will likely be at All-Star Weekend this next couple of weeks. And they're going to get a blocking foul on Davin Thomas. Thomas will also probably be there. He's 15th in the league in scoring. And we have a timeout. 9:08 left to go in the ball game. All-Stars on their way to win number 7, and the Redhawks trying to come back. We'll be right back. Before we go, though, a reminder, vote for all of these teams. Oh, we're not going to take a timeout. I thought we were taking a timeout. I don't know what's going on. You folks have watched this enough to know that already, though. So back to live action. Richardson's pass deflected out of bounds. So Sullivan will inbound it over on the far side of your screen. So Melvin Garrett and Robbie Dreher, I would think, are the two locks for All-Stars, as Dreher goes behind the back, and that pass nowhere near the intended target. Evans with the easy bucket. The lead back to 17. Darrell Evans, Davin Thomas could be there for the All-Stars. Maybe Omar Sanders. Sanders is their second leading scorer. Wiley Petty's at 16 points per ball game. It's going to be tough to pick. Into the forecourt now, Evans. Evans thought about it. Instead, out to Watts. Sanders has returned. Sanders doubled up. Swings it back out to Evans. Evans gets it back off the hot potato from Watts and buries the triple as the shot clock hits 0. The All-Stars hit the century mark and up the lead to 20, their biggest of the game. Dreher floats it up. Can't get the roll. Put back by Lynch, no good. Sanders had it, and he's fouled. Correction, they were just going to say Dreher hit it out of bounds. 8:06 left to go in the ball game. Sub for the Redhawks as Chris Rhodes has come back into the game. Jarrell Richardson will sit down. Evans into the forecourt. Evans skies it off the glass too strong. White the rebound. White throws full court. Dreher has to try to save it and ran out of real estate. It's really been turnovers that have been part of the problem for the Redhawks today. Just sloppy with the basketball at times. Credit the All-Stars who at times have put on a lot of pressure. Redhawks now getting a turnover. Again, Dreher has to try to save it, and Watts is the only one there. Wrong team. Petty, tip pass to Barnes. Barnes had trouble with it. Up top to Evans. Hit one a moment ago. Hit another one. The All-Stars are pouring it on here in Greenville. 103-80. Sullivan driving on Petty. Sullivan over Sanders. Nice move by Sullivan. Sanders has had a couple of blocks today. Petty. Here's Barnes. Bounce pass goes to Sanders. Sanders right block. Turnaround shot off the back of the rim. Rebound controlled by White. White floats it up for Rhodes. Rhodes, a 2-on-2, fires it from way downtown and hits. Evans into the forecourt, nearing the midway point of the final quarter. Evans guarded closely by Rhodes. Evans with 7. Evans, a lot of dribbling, too strong off the glass. Put back attempt no good by Barnes, and I believe he is fouled. So Barnes will go to the line for 2 shots. Phil Barnes, as I mentioned in the first half, 8th in the league in shooting. One of 3 players in the top 10 for the All-Stars in shooting. They are second as a team overall, shooting just under 60% from the field. They're 4th in the league in scoring. Barnes trying to salvage the trip, missed them both. Sullivan now for Upstate. Dreher on the left wing. Mounts passes it out to Rhodes. Rhodes swings it over. The jumper by White. Can't get it. Put back by Sullivan as he was there with the offensive rebound. 16-point ball game. Watts. Here's Barnes. Barnes from the elbow. Got caught in midair. Watts is there, though. Watts can't hit the jumper. The ball tipped out of bounds, and last touch by the Redhawks. 5:43 left to go. Timeout on the court, and we will step aside. It's the All-Stars by 16, 103-87. A reminder, vote for all of these teams. Getting a little chippy out there as you see both teams having to be separated. 5:43 left to go. You can vote for this, the SC Upstate Redhawks and other teams in the ecbl trying to vie for the basketball tournament coming up this summer and a chance for $2 million. And there's the website to go to vote. We'll be back. Welcome back, everybody. Chris Sheeman back here in Columbia, winding things down. Things are, where are we? We're in Greenville. I said Columbia. Things are getting chippy up there. Things are getting sloppy up here with the broadcast. What are we going to do? 16-point game. I really hope this doesn't become a 2-point game because I'm the only one who knows that the All-Stars actually have 103 points. And I don't want to be the one to break the news to anybody. Petty driving in. He's fouled. And this is the same thing we saw last week with Fayetteville and Raleigh-Durham is the teams got testy, and now everything has to be a foul. So settle in for free throws over the last 5:34 of this one. Petty, 64% free throw shooter. And gets the friendly roll on that one. Petty's second one is money in the bank, and the lead grows to 18 now at 105-87. Rhodes into the forward court. Here's Dreher. Dreher. Air ball. Boy, Dreher's been off here in the second half. Garrett in a sea of defenders can't get it to go. Lynch trying and scoring. Good hustle by the Upstate. Despite the big deficit, they are continuing to play hard, and that's what you want to see if you're head coach Henry Hawthorne. Evans on the far side of your screen. Skies it for Petty out near midcourt. Petty guarded by Sullivan. Petty with 5 on the shot clock. Petty with 3. Petty is looking at the shot clock. Grazes the rim, that's all. Garrett the rebound. And all alone is Dreher with the two-hand jam. Are they going to count the bucket? There was a foul away from the basketball. Sullivan and Petty were tied up. And let's see, they're going to talk about it. I believe they almost have to count the bucket. It happened bang, bang. So the officials are talking here with 4:44 left to go. Okay, so the bucket is good. And I believe they teed somebody up. Or they called an intentional foul. It looks like it's a technical foul. And the technical foul is on the Redhawks. So they called it on Robert Sullivan Jr. So that means Darrell Evans will go to the line to shoot the tee. And he hits it. So 106-91. And now it will also be All-Stars basketball. A lot going on in this game. So Darrell Evans out on the court with Wiley Petty. Also for the All-Stars, it's Watts, it's Sanders, and Barnes. That's the 5 for the All-Stars. For Upstate, as that 3 is no good. Garrett out on the court with Dreyer. Also Rhodes, who has the basketball, fires the 3, can't get it. Dreyer the offensive rebound. Lynch as well as Sullivan. That's the 5 for Upstate. Couple of fakes by Garrett. Garrett draws the foul, and he'll go to the line to shoot a couple. Melvin Garrett, 58% free throw shooter. Mentioned he played at Salem International. That was a school that they've really turned it around. They had all kinds of NCAA problems back in about 4 or 5 years ago. They just started the turnaround process, and well, you get hit with those NCAA infractions at the D2 level, and it just decimates your school. It's not just the athletic program. At the D2 level, you need a lot of those student athletes for enrollment numbers. Good defense there by Upstate. It was Rhodes. Dreyer will lay it in. Again, the Redhawks not done yet. It's a 12-point ball game. Petty. Petty gets a screen. Now Garrett on him on a switch. Petty bounce pass over to Barnes. Sanders now. Sanders, the reverse, got blocked by the rim. Lynch comes up with it. Here's Dreyer. Dreyer full court. Has to save it again. Got it to Rhodes. Rhodes drives in and scores. And the All-Stars have to get it together. The All-Stars are worried about everything but themselves right now. They had this game locked up. Petty doing a lot of one-on-one here. Somebody's got to move. He's able to get it to Evans. Evans drives in, had it blocked, and with 2 to shoot, it will be. It looked like Evans hit his head on the floor, so hopefully he's okay. There is a timeout called with 2:59 left to go. We're going to step aside. This one might not be over yet, folks. Don't go too far. Well, the Redhawks are making things interesting in part because they're getting in the head of the All-Stars. Chris Shima, glad to be back with you. We've got under 3 minutes to go. The All-Stars are still in control. It's still a 10-point game, but Out of the timeout. It's SC Upstate with the basketball and a chance to make it single digits. Rhodes driving in, and he stepped out of bounds. It's the little things, those mental errors, bad passes and turnovers so far that have hurt the Redhawks. Petty now into the forecourt. Petty, too strong for Lovett. So the ball goes back to the Redhawks. Dreyer can turn it on at any moment. The league's second leading scorer with the basketball. Dreyer driving in. Dreyer draws the foul. So 2:29 left to go, and Robbie Dreyer, 74% free throw shooter, will go to the line. Mentioned he played college ball from 2009 to 2013, played both at Winthrop for most of his career and then University of Charleston his senior year. 8.9 points per ball game as a collegian. Missed that first free throw, a big one. Coming out, Marcus Watts for the All-Stars. Coming in, Deshaun Hall. Dreyer, 1 out of 2. So it's a single-digit game now, 106-97. Credit the Redhawks for not giving up, but it's been a sloppy fourth quarter for the All-Stars. Petty between the circles now. Petty driving on Lynch. The pass to Lovett. Lovett scores. There's the ball movement and the inside game for the All-Stars that we saw earlier that helped them to their biggest lead of the game, which was 20. Rhodes now to Dreyer. Dreyer being dared to shoot. Can't get it to go. Jones the rebound. So Curtis Jones also back out there for the All-Stars. Hall into the forecourt. Inside 2 minutes to go. Evans. Guarded by Rhodes. 10 to shoot now. What's Evans going to do? Rhodes stays with him with 5. Evans looking for a screen. Evans in and out. And it's tipped out of bounds. That was off of Garrett. .131 left to go. And a fresh 24 now for the All-Stars, who might try to milk it a little bit. Or that. Quick inbound to Evans, and Evans will go to the line. They've worked quick on the inbound plays, have the All-Stars today. Nicely done, too. Mentioned the All-Stars can stay a game behind the primetime players, winning today, going to 7-3. Right now they're 6-3, with High Point and the primetime players left on their schedule. In and out. Evans frustrated. Omar Sanders checking back in as Corey Lovett sits down. Omar Sanders is another player with international experience. He played in South America, a product of South Carolina State University. So 1 out of 2 at the line. It's a 12-point game again with 1:25 to go. Richardson back out there, got it to Garrett. Garrett in a sea of defenders, couldn't get it to go. Jones came up with the rebound off the miss. And Evans is in no hurry. Approaching 1 minute to go here in our game of the week. Evans directing traffic now with 7 to shoot, looking for a screen, gets it from Sanders, drives to the bucket, couldn't get it to roll, and a foul is called underneath on the tip rebound. It looks like it's on Garrett. That's interesting. So Sanders is going to go to the line. Omar Sanders, 63% for the second straight time. Sanders at the line. First free throw up and in. Sanders, second free throw is good. Rhodes. Here's Dreyer. Dreyer drives in. Yes, and the foul. 44.4. Chance to make it a 3-point play. Had a little fun with Daryl Beeson because he likes to give it to the referees all the time. But I was listening to him direct traffic, and boy, he's really on top of things, very engaged with his players. And I was listening to him as Sanders was shooting the free throw on the other end and just ready to go, has his guys ready to play every possession. Terrific player last year and a terrific coach this year, has his team on its way to their 7th win. Petty drives in, and that's off the fingertips of Curtis Jones, who's come back in. So it's looking like they're going to get a timeout, I believe. 30-second timeout, so we will keep it here. So the All-Stars again. Primetime Players won over Petersburg by 30. After that game was a 2-point game at halftime. So Primetime's 8-2. The All-Stars a chance now on their way to a 7-3 mark. They'll stay one game ahead of the Primetime Players. And the Primetime Players are starting to gel. Talked to Chris Thomas the last time we had the chance to really chat, and I think he's hoping to get some guys back. Thomas Pfaff has been out injured, so. But the great thing about this year is it's still anybody's league, and the All-Stars are looking very formidable, at least here today in Greenville. Still 2 more games to go, though. A lot to be decided. Richardson into the forecourt. Richardson brings it over to Lynch. Lynch to Dreyer. Dreyer drives in, floats it up. No. Put back by Garrett is good, as the All-Stars were more than content to let that happen. And now a quick foul and a chance for the All-Stars to put some sprinkles on the cupcakes in what will be their 7th victory of the season. Curtis Jones, 71% free throw shooter. Jones off the back of the rim on the first one. Jones, who played at Lindsey Wilson in college, missed them both. Rebound controlled by Lynch. Rhodes got it to Richardson. Richardson pull-up jumper, no. And Garrett is fouled with 8.2. So the Redhawks, Garrett will shoot 2 free throws. One of the biggest pet peeves of anybody who knows the game, anybody who coaches the game, is if you're winning and you foul a player near the end of the game. There's just no point. Then again, rather than letting him make the easy bucket, you make him earn it at the free throw stripe. Garrett has struggled this year, just 58% free throw shooter, and he missed them both. And that should do it. Well, they're going to foul Hall, but we're going to wrap it up. With 5.9 seconds, the All-Stars are going to 7-3 on the season. The Redhawks, what was left of their playoff hopes, are gone, as they will fall to 2-9. The Redhawks still have one more home game. If you're in the upstate, go check them out against Fort Gordon on the 11th of June. That's a Saturday. And that'll be it for the Redhawks here in 2016. Meanwhile, the All-Stars, their 7th win of the year. Next weekend, they're at High Point on the 28th. Then they host the Primetime Players after the All-Star break on the 11th. And that will be at visit the Primetime Players. That could be for the top seed. What does the top seed mean? Not too much, because the top 4 teams will play each other on a neutral site. I'm not sure where the Southern Division will play. I know the North is playing in Fayetteville. So a timeout on the court with 7.2 seconds. The Redhawks will inbound it so they can bring it to half court here. And again, it's 11-point game, but people here think it's a 9-point game, so it's really not over. There was a 3-point opportunity by the All-Stars. The bucket was never counted here. So Dreher to inbound it for the Redhawks. With 5 seconds, it's Richardson. Can't get it to go, and that will do it. South Carolina All-Stars improved to 7-3, defeating the Upstate Redhawks 113-102. Folks, don't forget, join us June 4th. We'll be in Columbia for All-Star Weekend coverage. Starts with the three-point shootout, slam dunk competitions at 2:30, and the All-Star game at 5. Thanks as always for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. And don't forget, we'll chat again on June 4th. Looking forward to it. Take care.